What is going on, everyone? My name is Marco Pang, and thank you for watching my first YouTube video. In this video, I'm going to tell you what Steve Jobs and Warren Buffett have in common, how I traveled to over 45 countries in 6 years, and how I live rent and mortgage free, and why I think Bitcoin is the future. If you want videos like this, please like and subscribe down below. It would really help the channel. With that said, let's dive into the video. I want to create a channel to talk about the things I love and I'm most passionate about. Personal finance, investing, real estate, business, Bitcoin, life experiences, and overall just have fun with those topics on this channel while providing some value and learning lessons to those who watch the video. All the while doing it in an entertaining way. This passion for business really started when I was growing up and I loved all things business and personal finance. I'd obsess about businesses like Google, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and would read their quarterly reports as if it was a storybook. I would read every biography about successful entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs and Phil Knight. I would read every article and listen to every interview successful investors like Warren Buffett would give, and wanted to know what made them so successful and what I could do to be just like them. So naturally, when I got to college, I got a degree in, you guessed it, business. And when it came time to graduate, I wanted a career that would expose me to executive thinking, to help shape and grow organizations right away. So I took a job as a management consultant at a Big Four management consulting firm. So that's what I did for the first 8 years of my career. I would travel Monday through Thursday to different cities in the US to work with clients. I learned a lot of lessons and grew a lot as a person over those 8 years. Some of which I want to share on this channel. For example, finding a work-life balance when you have a demanding job. Like, is your job really worth it? When do you know when it's time to leave your job? What are the best perks that you can get out of your job? During those 8 years, I developed another passion of mine, which I plan to talk a lot about on this channel: travel. Since I was traveling every week for work, that meant I was able to rack up the hotel points and flight miles. I took over 800 flights, or just over 100 a year for 8 years. I stayed on average 48 weeks in a hotel every year. And when I wasn't traveling for work, I was traveling personally. I traveled over 45 countries in 6 years, climbed a lot of mountains.
All right, we're at the top.
This video?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we just made it.
time to go home.
Brutal.
Visit a lot of national parks. On this channel, I want to share some of my best travel hacks that I learned over time. Like, what is your best bang for your buck airline? Don't do Spirit. What is your best point redemption value at hotels? Like, what are the best cities and countries to visit for what experience you're looking for? And hopefully provide some of my best travel hacks for those other travelers out there. But as my professional career progressed, I had this feeling that made me not want to be tied to a job because of the dependency of money or status. I didn't want to be the guy who sits at a desk for 40 years, showing up from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. just to retire in 40 years. That led me to research into how I could expand my business life outside of my normal job. Though I loved the perks of my then job, I wanted to find different sources of income because I didn't want to be tied to a single source of income. I read every book, listened to every podcast I could about living a more freeing lifestyle, expanding income stream, and living the FIRE lifestyle, meaning financially independent, retire early. I read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book on real estate investing by Brandon Turner, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and I felt like I listened to every Bigger Pockets podcast out there. All that research ultimately led me to invest in real estate. My first real estate investment was a 4-unit building in Chicago's Wicker Park where I planned to house hack. So I could rent the other 3 units so the mortgage and expenses would be covered by the tenants. So I didn't have to pay anything, meaning my biggest expense, rent, was covered. On top of that, since I was traveling so much for work, I was planning to Airbnb my unit when I was traveling for work. I learned a lot of lessons in my first year of real estate. I learned more in my first few months of doing real estate, owning and managing the units myself, than in the 3 to 4 years of reading books and listening to podcasts. Living for free really became a passion of mine, and I really enjoyed investing in real estate. After the first year of owning real estate had passed, in 2020, I dove deeper into the real estate market and bought a 2-flat that needed some TLC. aka needed to get rehab. At the start of the pandemic, I started gut rehab of a 2-unit building in the same neighborhood. It took about 7 months to finish, but once it was finished, I refinanced the property to get the new increased value out of it. I plan to share some of the lessons learned and the do's and don'ts on this channel from my personal experience. Once the pandemic hit, I started learning about another passion of mine, which I plan to talk about on this channel: Bitcoin. During the time of the pandemic, when the money supply was increasing, Bitcoin taught me a lot about things that I once overlooked. Like, what is money? What is a store of value? I want to create awareness of Bitcoin, its benefits, and how it can impact the world for the better. To summarize, I want to create videos where I can share my passions and experiences with others, so hopefully others will get value out of them. With that said, thank you for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe down below if you want more videos like this, and until next time.